I'm Kendra Royce, 28 years old, gripping the National Young Entrepreneur Award on stage in Portland, Oregon, my sustainable fashion app revolutionizing waste reduction for brands. Cheers erupt, but my thoughts slam back to the betrayal that fueled this: my parents ditching my wedding to party with my sister Cassidy. Wedding day in Tulsa. Months of planning Michael at the altar, my heart racing. Then the call. Mom and Dad bail, claiming finances too tight. I push through the hurt, say my vows alone. Hours later, doom scrolling Instagram, I freeze. Cousin Jenna's stories show Richard and Susan, my parents, toasting Cassidy's promotion bash in Miami. Luxury hotel champagne flowing. They flew so far to celebrate her glory but skipped my big day. Phone in hand, I dial, voice cracking. How could you lie? Gaslighting pours in. Last minute thing, couldn't afford both. But screenshots scream truth flights and feasts costing thousands. I block them instantly, severed ties. Move to Portland with Michael rebuilt from zero. 1 year on, Cassidy contacts me, utterly speechless at my rise. The revenge stick around. Ever been backstabbed by family? Comment your story below. Subscribe and hit the bell for more epic comeback tales. Growing up in the quiet suburbs of Tulsa, Oklahoma, our family scraped by in that classic middle-class way. Dad's steady job kept the lights on, but luxuries were few and far between. My father, Richard Royce, managed a local manufacturing plant, coming home each evening with grease-stained hands and stories of production quotas. Mom, Susan Royce, handled administrative work at the public school district, organizing schedules and budgets, with her no-nonsense clipboard approach. They were hard-working folks, the kind who attended church on Sundays and barbecued in the backyard come summer. But from my earliest memories, something felt off in how they divided their attention between me and my younger sister Cassidy. I was the older one, always pushing myself to excel. By first grade, I had straight A's plastered on the fridge, and I joined every club that caught my eye: debate team, science fairs, even the Girl Scouts, where I earned badges for everything from camping to coding basics. Mom would glance at my report cards and sigh, pointing out the 1B in art as if it erased the rest. Kendra, you could do better if you focused less on all these distractions, she'd say, her tone laced with disappointment that stung more than any low grade. Dad nodded along, muttering about how my overachieving might burn me out young. They never celebrated my wins with more than a pat on the back. Instead, it was constant nitpicking, like my efforts were never quite enough to earn real pride. Cassidy, 4 years younger, operated in a different world. She struggled with school from the start. C's and D's dominated her paper's homework battles, turning into nightly dramas. Yet Mom and Dad treated her slip-ups like minor hiccups deserving of encouragement. Oh, Cassidy's just creative, not book-smart like Kendra. Mom would coo, rushing out to buy her new art supplies or that latest video game console after a bad quarter. Dad chimed in with weekend trips to the Oklahoma City Zoo, or even a drive to Dallas for a theme park day, framing it as building her confidence. One time, after Cassidy bombed a math test, they surprised her with a family outing to a water park. Tickets weren't cheap, around $200 for the bunch, while my perfect scores got a generic good job over dinner. It wasn't jealousy at first. I helped her study, shared my notes, thinking it was just their way of balancing us out. We were thick as thieves back then, Cassidy and I. Sleepovers in our shared room, whispering secrets under blanket forts, me braiding her hair while she doodled silly pictures of us as superheroes. But as she hit elementary school, the favoritism wore on me. She'd whine about chores, and Mom let her off the hook every time, saying, "She's sensitive, Kendra, cut her some slack." I'd end up doing double duty, scrubbing dishes alone, while Cassidy watched TV. Dad backed it up, buying her ice cream after her tantrums, never questioning why I stayed quiet and compliant. The wedge grew slowly. Her reliance turned into expectation, like she deserved the easy path because they paved it for her. My best friend Kevin Brooks saw it all unfold. We met in third grade during recess, bonding over kickball and shared lunches. He'd come over after school, sprawling on the living room floor with comics, and witness the daily divide. "Why do they baby Cassidy so much?" He'd whisper as Mom fussed over her scraped knee from playing outside, ignoring my own triumphs from the spelling bee that day. Kevin's family was straightforward, equal rules for his siblings, so the imbalance baffled him. He'd stick up for me subtly, like distracting Cassidy during my study time, or hyping my science project when parents brushed it off. His outsider view validated the hurt I buried deep, making our friendship my quiet refuge amid the growing resentment. Those early years planted seeds of doubt in my worth, teaching me self-reliance the hard way, while Cassidy learned the world owed her favors. The pattern deepened as we entered our teens, with high school bringing fresh tests of loyalty and favoritism that pulled us further apart. High school hit like a whirlwind of opportunities I grabbed with both hands, turning the favoritism at home into fuel for proving myself. At Tulsa's public high school, I led the debate club to regionals, aced AP classes, and even snagged a scholarship essay contest that paid for my first laptop. Teachers raved about my work ethic, but when I brought home those trophies, Dad barely looked up from his newspaper. "Don't get cocky, Kendra. Real life doesn't hand out medals." He'd grunt while Mom filed the certificates away without a word. Cassidy, meanwhile, coasted through with her crowd of friends, skipping practices for cheerleading tryouts that Mom drove her to anyway, complete with pep talks and new uniforms costing over $100 each. College at the local university felt like freedom at last. I majored in business with a focus on sustainable tech, interning at a small eco-consulting firm during summers. My GPA stayed flawless, and I presented at a student innovation fair that got local buzz, but phone calls home yielded the same shrugs. "That's nice, but focus on graduating debt-free," Mom advised, ignoring the dean's list emails I forwarded. It was during freshman orientation that I met my future husband, Michael Hayes, tall, easygoing guy from a nearby town studying environmental engineering. We bonded over late-night study sessions in the library, laughing about bad cafeteria food and dreaming of startups that could make a difference. He saw my drive without the criticism, supporting me through every pitch and paper. By junior year, we were inseparable. Talks of marriage bubbled up naturally after graduation, planning a simple Tulsa ceremony to save costs. We set the date for a year out, booking a modest venue downtown with backyard reception vibes. Nothing fancy, just close friends, Kevin as best man, and family front row. I envisioned Mom tearing up during vows, Dad shaking Michael's hand proudly. Invites went out months early. They confirmed attendance with excitement over group texts. Cassidy even teased about being maid of honor, though her work schedule clashed. As the day neared, stress mounted with final fittings and RSVPs, but Michael kept me grounded, reminding me it was about us starting fresh. Wedding morning dawned bright. Hair done, dress zipped, nerves buzzing with joy. Guests arrived, music swelled, but my phone lit up with a text from Mom around noon. "Sweetie, Richard and I can't make it. Finances got too tight this month with bills piling up. So sorry. Love you." My stomach dropped. Dad echoed it in a follow-up call, voice flat. "Plant layoffs hit hard, Kendra. Postpone if you have to." Michael hugged me tight as I fought tears, deciding to proceed without them. The show must go on, right? Ceremony blurred through smiles, masking ache. Rings exchanged, cake, cut, dances spun under string lights. By evening, exhaustion mixed with unresolved hurt. I scrolled Instagram for distraction, heart still raw. That's when cousin Jenna Miller's stories popped up. Live updates from Miami Beach. There were Mom and Dad Richard and Susan grinning amid palm trees at a swanky hotel rooftop. Cassidy center stage, promotion plaque in hand from her sales job, surrounded by colleagues, clinking glasses. Captions gushed about family pride and deserved celebration. Lavish buffet, ocean views, the whole scene screaming expense. They had jetted south for her bash, but claimed poverty for my vows. Rage boiled. I screenshotted everything, costs adding up fast. Round-trip flights from Tulsa around $800 each, hotel suites, pushing 1,000 a night, dinners for the group nearing 1,500. Fingers trembling, I dialed Mom on speaker with Michael beside me. How could you lie like that? You're in Miami toasting Cassidy while I'm here alone on my wedding day. Her pause stretched then. Deflection. It was spontaneous, honey. Her boss invited us last minute and we thought you'd understand. We sent a card. Dad jumped in, gaslighting harder. You're overreacting. Money's fungible. We dipped into savings for her. Savings. The math didn't lie. Total tab hit $3,000 easy per the tagged venues and receipts in comments. Their excuses twisted the knife, blaming my sensitivity for the rift. I hung up mid-sentence, blocking numbers across phones and socials. No more manipulations, no second chances. The betrayal landed like a punch to the gut, shattering any lingering hope for fairness. Vows or not, that night marked the end. Michael and I drove home in silence, the weight lifting slightly with resolve to forge ahead without them. The drive west after our honeymoon felt like shedding dead weight. Michael and I packed our lives into a rented U-Haul, heading for Portland's rainy promise of reinvention. We chose the city for its buzzing, sustainable tech scene. Bike lanes everywhere, food carts slinging vegan everything, and startups tackling climate head-on. No safety net from back home. We arrived with savings from my internships and his engineering gigs, determined to bootstrap without a dime from Richard or Susan. First weeks blurred into apartment hunts in the southeast neighborhood, settling on a cozy one-bedroom with creaky floors and mountain views for $800 a month rent. To keep afloat, we hustled part-time jobs right away. Michael bartended at a craft brewery downtown, slinging IPAs to hipsters, while I waitressed at an organic cafe, balancing trays of kale smoothies through morning rushes. Nights and weekends went to my passion project, sketching an app for sustainable fashion supply chains, using algorithms to match brands with eco-friendly fabrics and cut shipping waste. I coded prototypes on our secondhand laptop, Michael beta testing features over takeout ramen. No loans begged from family. Every paycheck covered groceries and bus passes, teaching us grit in Portland's high cost of living. The cutoff stung fresh, but it freed us to build without strings. A breakthrough came when I networked at a local sustainability meetup, connecting with my mentor, Dr. Amanda Foster, a sharp environmental scientist leading research at a nearby university lab. She spotted potential in my app pitch during coffee chats, inviting me to join her team part-time on grant-funded projects analyzing textile recycling. Your idea bridges tech and ethics perfectly, Amanda said, handing me access to datasets and software tools I'd only dreamed of. Under her guidance, I dove into real-world testing, collaborating with fabric suppliers, and tweaking code to predict carbon footprints accurately. Her feedback sharpened my vision, turning hobby code into viable product demos that impressed early investors at pitch nights. Parallel to lab work, therapy became my anchor. I found Dr. Elena Vargas through a community clinic referral, a warm Latina counselor specializing in family dynamics. Sessions unpacked the golden child and scapegoat roles. Cassidy as the indulged favorite, me, the reliable fixer blamed for everything. Your parents' favoritism wired you for hyper-independence. Elena explained, helping me process resentment without bitterness. We role-played boundaries, journaling triggers from childhood echoes, and I learned to voice needs instead of swallowing hurt. Michael joined a couple sessions, strengthening our partnership. Her insights mended old wounds, fostering trust that our marriage thrived on equality, not obligation. As roots deepened, we crafted a chosen family to fill the void. Kevin Brooks flew in from Tulsa for a weekend visit, crashing on our couch and marveling at the craft beer scene while we hiked Forest Park trails. His stories from home, awkward family silences post-cutoff, bonded us tighter, him vowing to visit yearly. Then there was Rachel Simmons, a fellow waitress at the cafe who became my daily sounding board. We'd vent shifts away over park picnics, her no BS advice cutting through self-doubt. She introduced us to her circle of creatives, turning strangers into allies. Our first big ritual was Thanksgiving that year. No turkey from Mom's recipes, but a potluck in our living room with Kevin via video, Rachel's mashed potatoes, and Michael's experimental vegan stuffing. Laughter echoed as we shared gratitudes around a mismatched table, toasting new beginnings far from Tulsa's shadows. It wasn't blood, but it felt real, supportive without conditions. Those months in Portland reshaped us. The app gained traction through Amanda's network therapy, built emotional armor, and friends wove a safety net stronger than family ever did. Hustle paid off in small wins, like our first app demo landing a local boutique partnership. Refining that first demo meant endless nights debugging code, integrating supply chain data from Amanda's lab partners to optimize fabric sourcing routes and slash emissions by predicting demand spikes. The prototype algorithm crunched variables like weather patterns affecting cotton yields and truck fuel efficiency, outputting reroutes that saved brands thousands in logistics. Michael proofread my white papers, suggesting tweaks from his engineering angle, turning raw script into a polished beta ready for eyes beyond our apartment. I scheduled a pitch with my supervisor at the lab's startup incubator, Thomas Riley, a no-frills exec with a background in logistics software overseeing venture-backed projects. Nerves high, I demoed the app in his corner office overlooking the Willamette River, walking through simulations where a mock clothing line reduced waste by 30%. "This isn't vaporware," Thomas said, leaning forward. "It's actionable. Lead a small team, 3 devs and a data analyst, to scale it for pilot tests." Just like that, I stepped into management, coordinating weekly stand-ups and assigning tasks on fabric traceability modules. The role stretched me, juggling deadlines while mentoring juniors on ethical sourcing ethics. Skepticism hit quick from the team. One dev rolled eyes at my idealistic eco-focus, arguing profit trumps planet every time, while the analyst questioned data accuracy from unverified suppliers. Pushback came in meetings. "Your model's too optimistic on rerouting feasibility." They'd challenge, citing past flops in similar tech. I doubled down, organizing hackathons to iron bugs, sourcing real-time APIs from shipping firms for validation. Tensions peaked during a crunch week, but iterative tests proved the algorithm's edge in a trial. With a Portland dye house, we cut excess inventory by 40%, dodging $5,000 in disposal fees. Results silenced doubters. The dev who griped became my co-lead on UI refinements, team morale shifting to collaborative buzz. Word spread fast in Portland's tight-knit green tech circle. Success metrics landed us a feature in the local business journal, headline blaring, "Local app slashes fashion waste. Meet the innovator behind it." Reporters quoted my vision on circular economies, photos capturing me at the pilot site with fabric rolls. The exposure triggered investor nibbles and a promotion to senior developer with a bump to full-time pay, affording us date nights at food cart pods instead of ramen. Thomas pulled me aside post-article, "You're proving the incubator's worth. Keep pushing boundaries." On the personal front, therapy with Elena evolved my self-growth. She unpacked how scapegoat conditioning bred that relentless solo grind, sessions revealing burnout patterns from always proving worth. "Let the team share load." She'd urge exercises, building delegation confidence without guilt. I practiced vulnerability, confiding project fears to Michael over home-cooked stir-fries, his steady, "We've got this together," easing the lone wolf armor. Our bond deepened through shared wins, celebrating the promotion with a weekend getaway to the coast, walking beaches hand in hand, discussing future kids without family baggage looming. Date nights turned intentional, reigniting spark amid career climb. His promotions sinking ours into tandem momentum. Career traction built quiet confidence. Media hits opened doors to conferences where I keynoted on sustainable algorithms, networking with VCs eyeing scalability. The app's core, adaptive learning from user data, positioned us for bigger leagues, validation healing old insecurities one milestone at a time. That larger idea crystallized into an adaptive framework layering machine learning atop the core algorithm to self-optimize in real time against market shifts like raw material shortages or policy changes on imports. I iterated relentlessly, feeding it datasets from global textile trade simulations showing dynamic adjustments that boosted efficiency another 20%. Thomas rallied the incubator board for review. Presentations dragged over weeks, with Q&A grilling on scalability and ROI projections. Finally, approval came via email from the top brass, greenlit for enterprise rollout complete with seed funding to hire 2 more specialists. The validation surged adrenaline. We spun up servers overnight prepping for client outreach in Portland's hospitality sector. Momentum snowballed into a landmark deal with Evergreen Hotels, a regional chain pushing green retrofits across 15 properties. Negotiations kicked off at their downtown HQ Me, demoing how the app streamlined linen sourcing and energy audits, projecting annual savings of $200,000 per location through waste audits and vendor swaps. Their sustainability director, impressed by pilot metrics, signed on the dotted line after a site visit, where we integrated the framework live. Fabrics rerouted audits, automated staff trained in under a day. Press releases touted the partnership as a model for eco-hospitality, my name attached as lead innovator, opening floodgates to similar queries from apparel firms. The buzz earned me a nomination for the Young Entrepreneur Award at Portland's annual Innovation Summit Judges, citing the framework's impact on circular supply chains. Entry forms detailed metrics, waste diverted equivalent to thousands of tons yearly, positioning me among finalists in a field of VR whizzes and biotech upstarts. Summit organizers teased the event with panels I moderated on tech ethics, heightening stakes as voting opened to industry peers. Then, out of nowhere, an email pinged from Cassidy's address subject line, "Caught your article. Wow." She'd stumbled on a deep dive feature in Tech Innovate magazine profiling the Evergreen deal, complete with my photo and quotes on resilience. Moved to Portland last month for a fresh start. She wrote, "Job fell through, back home needed change. Sorry for everything before. The wedding stuff was messed up, I see that now." Half apology laced with curiosity about my big success. No full ownership, just hints at her unraveling life. Blocked numbers kept calls at bay, but curiosity won. I replied curtly, suggesting coffee to talk. We met at a Pearl District cafe, her arriving disheveled in faded jeans, me in work slacks post-meeting. Cassidy fidgeted with her latte eyes darting before spilling. Promotion in Miami fizzled into layoffs. Boyfriend bailed amid her entitled phase, rent checks bouncing without parental bailouts. You built this empire while I crashed. How? She pressed, voice cracking at mentions of my award nod and hotel contract. Shock etched her face as I skimmed details. Framework approvals, savings projections, her jaw slackening at numbers dwarfing our Tulsa upbringing. Regret flickered when she probed the cutoff. Mom and Dad spiraled after you blocked them, but I get why now. No deep remorse, just stunned awe at my trajectory versus her wreckage. I kept responses measured, nodding without warmth. Focus on your path, Cassidy. Steering clear of old wounds or invitations to reconnect? She perked at the summit mention, insisting, "I'd love to come cheer you on. It's in Portland, right? Maybe Mom and Dad catch the live stream. They follow tech news sometimes." Hint dropped like bait, testing waters for reconciliation, but I deflected. It's professional, not family reunion. Her expression twisted, envy mixing with belated guilt, cheeks flushing as reality hit my independence, thriving without them. The meat wrapped awkwardly, her hug rebuffed politely, leaving her staring at my retreating back. That encounter stirred old echoes but reinforced boundaries. The framework's wins drowned out drama nomination, fueling final prep for the big night. Spotlights bathed the convention center stage as I stepped up for the Young Entrepreneur Award presentation, heart-thumping amid Portland's innovation elite. Slides flew through the adaptive framework's mechanics, real-time optimization slashing hotel waste visuals of evergreens retrofits glowing with before-after stats. This isn't just code, I declared to the packed hall. It's empowerment for brands to thrive sustainably without compromise. Judges nodded. Applause built as they announced my name trophy heavy in hands, confetti raining down. Back row, Cassidy sat frozen face, a mask of regret and sheer astonishment, eyes wide, lips parted as if seeing a stranger who'd eclipsed her world. Backstage buzz hit fever pitch. Organizers snapped photos while Cassidy lingered near exits, but I dodged with polite nods to team members. Post-win her texts flooded in first. So proud, can we talk now? Followed by voicemails from Mom's number, voice wavering. Kendra, seeing you shine. Richard and I regret everything. Please unblock. Dad's followed gruff pleas, mixing apologies with family needs healing. Temptation flickered briefly, but boundaries held firm. I forwarded screenshots to Michael, then replied once via neutral email. This chapter's closed. Respect my peace. No meetups, no forgiveness tours. I blocked fresh numbers, deleted apps, linking old profiles, severing ties irrevocably. Their persistence faded into silence. My resolve steel from therapy forged clarity. Media frenzy ensued. Local outlets like Oregon Live grabbed exclusives, microphones thrusting as I fielded questions on scaling the app nationwide. From personal lows to industry highs, I shared, vaguely crediting team grit over family drama. Thomas hosted a team bash at a rooftop bar, toasts clinking with craft cocktails, devs recounting pilot triumphs anew. Promotion sealed my director of innovation role, overseeing expanded R&D with budget hikes. Michael jumped aboard as co-founder, his engineering expertise, syncing our visions into a full-fledged company. Life bloomed in our upgraded apartment overlooking the river. Weekend brunches, shared coding marathons, marriage a bedrock of mutual cheers, no shadows from Tulsa haunting date nights or dreams. Reality circled back harshly for them months later. Whispers from mutual contacts painted Cassidy's downfall. Rushed marriage to a supportive guy crumbled into divorce after her unemployment spiral. Bad choices like maxed credit for impulse buys without mom-dad safety nets leaving her couch-surfing Portland fringes. No job stuck. Entitlement from years of spoiling tanked interviews, her resume gaps echoing lost promotions. Richard and Susan fared worse in Tulsa. Lavish habits caught up credit card debts from unchecked trips and gifts ballooning past $50,000, factory shifts cut forcing early retirement. Foreclosure loomed. They sold the family home at loss, relocating to a cramped rental, scraping Social Security amid medical bills, the favoritisms bill finally due without my fixer role to bail them. Cutting those toxic threads unlocked my true value, self-worth not tied to approval, but internal fire driving breakthroughs. Cherished chosen families like Michael's steady hand, Rachel's laughs, Kevin's loyalty. They uplift without drain. Success springs from grit within not inherited crutches. Prove doubters wrong by building empires on your terms. Thanks for sticking through this journey. If family betrayal shaped you, share thoughts below. How'd you rise? Your stories inspire us all.